It was in June 1947 when 31-year-old Menon arrived at Swami Shivananda's ashram in Rishikesh. He planned to conduct his interviews with the critical mind of a journalist, yet he knew he was seeking more than he admitted to others. He walked into the ashram grounds, encountering several disciples. Mischievous monkeys roamed everywhere, along with a few peacocks. He introduced himself and explained the reason for his visit. Like with all visitors, the disciples gave him a warm welcome with a cup of tea. They even made arrangements for his stay in the guest hostel. After dropping his luggage off, Menon was talking to a few disciples under a large mango tree when Swami Shivananda approached them from behind. Everyone rose and greeted him. Menon instantly recognized the Swami from the photos he had seen in magazines before. The introductions were made. "Hello, Menon," said Swami Shivananda. "Welcome to our ashram. What brings you here?" Menon replied, "I'm a journalist from Delhi. I have come to see the land of the holy sages and write a story on this. I've read some of your works. That's why I'm here." "How long would you be staying, Menon?" "Oh, I plan to collect all the information I need in just a day or two." "What's your hurry? Take your time. You're welcome to stay as long as you like." Menon's keen eyes soon observed that this Swami was no hermit sitting in the retirement of meditation. In fact, he had an extremely busy schedule every day that started at 4 a.m. He taught his disciples. He wrote articles and books on spirituality. He replied to letters from around the world. He conducted yoga classes, conducted satsangs, and question-answer sessions with devotees. He even managed a hospital. In the evening, he conducted devotional singing. In spite of being so busy, he would often take tea to a visiting Swami or carry fruit and sweets to many patients in the hospital. He was the humblest of men, no job too small, no day too short to finish his work, and yet he always exuded a dynamic peace through all his activities. The following incident is one of many examples of how Swami Shivananda lived his life. Leprosy is a chronic and infectious disease that can have devastating results on the figure and life of a person. One day, a man in an extreme state of infection with pus oozing out of his body was dropped off in front of Swami Shivananda's ashram. The Swamiji asked two of his disciples to admit the man into the ashram hospital. The two disciples, just 15 minutes from their break, decided to wait until after that to help the man. When they returned, there was no sign of the man. After inquiring, they found that the man was in the hospital, all well bandaged and nursed. On further questioning, they realized that the Swamiji himself had carried the man in his bare hands to the hospital, dressed his wounds, and made him as comfortable as possible. Having keenly observed the Swami, the ashram, and all its activities, Menon thought to himself, "I have never met such a dynamic yet kind, generous, and godly person." Being so inspired by the Swami, Menon extended his stay several more days, and then to a couple of weeks, and in the end, he had spent a full month. During this time, Menon had several interactions with the Swami, who most likely was able to see past the journalist exterior. Realizing that this was no ordinary journalist, here was a man who was seeking something much deeper. A few times he prodded Menon. "God has blessed you with such intelligence. Why don't you use it to analyze this worldly life? You will see that it only leads to misery. Observe your life, think, and then You can draw your own conclusions. The disciples in the ashram began to sense that this journalist Menon was receiving special attention from their Swami. They talked amongst themselves. He doesn't have a single spiritual bone in his body. He talks all the time, constantly drilling people with questions. And yet our Swamiji really likes him. They continued. But he does have those big bulging eyes and extra long arms, both signs of a great yogi in a previous birth. Anyway, just the fact that our Swamiji likes him means he must have karma phala. That was the impression that Balakrishnan Menon had left when he took the train back to Delhi after spending a month in Rishikesh.
This is song of Durial Sadhana. Here, just here. Durial Sadhana, my dear children. Durial Sadhana. Sadhana, 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 sadhana. Durial Sadhana, my dear children. Durial Sadhana. Suna pyare mohana. Suna pyare mohana. Mohana, 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 mohana. Durial Sadhana, my dear children.